Okay, so we got this 55-inch TCL TV, and it's a pretty much TV or Roku TV. The model number of this TV is a 55S as in Sam 401, and like I said, it's a common TV with a common problem. We'll go ahead and fire it up, and originally got laying down because the buttons are up underneath. Then they have the feet for it. We'll go ahead and turn it on. Okay, and as you can see, there's a flashing light. It's gonna take a while to boot up. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead there. There's actually only 3 buttons up under here. One in the middle is to power it up. So we'll hit that. It should start flashing, and we're not going to get anything. It's gonna flash for a minute, so this light. Broke my light switch. But I can't see that. You can see where it says Netflix right there. Okay, and if I go down some more, it says Voodoo, whatever, movies and TV, Prime Video right there, so on. So in any case that we do have a backlight problem with this TV, so let's take this bad baby apart and let's get right down to it. Okay, we're gonna take the back off. It's pretty simple. Just pull the screws out of the holes here. One thing that I do want to mention is at the very bottom of the back cover. Get these screws out first. And I'm gonna put a few in here. I took them out already, but there are actually some screws right down here. There's 2 very small screws. They're actually smaller than the ones I have in my hand. These are all pretty much the same screws all the way around, including the bottom, I think. I'm not sure. But you're gonna have to get a little screwdriver like this, because you can't use a number 2, right? Phillips said you're gonna have to get a small screwdriver like this and take both of those screws out. And the rest of the ones on the bottom, like right here, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and then with the 2 here, there's makes 6. Okay. And the back cover is going to come up. So let me show you this real quick. So before you just snatch it off, you're going to have to unplug this connector right here. This is for your control panel, your buttons. You have a power button in the middle, you have an up and down button, so you have to use a remote pretty much this TV. And your speakers, which are also connected on both sides. One there, one there. It's on the back cover. Just disconnect that, so don't just yank the cover off because you're going to break the connector, and that's going to be, stupid extra work. And if you fire it back up, sometimes it will fire back up on its own when you plug it in. If not, just put this close. As you can see, this really doesn't come out any kind of way. This is the control panel, right? I mean, for the button assembly right here. It really doesn't come out any kind of way, so you're going to just keep it close if you need it. Just plug it back in and, fire it up if you need to test fire it up. Okay, we got our back cover off, and this right here is an actual plug for LEDs. It's going inside to the TV, as you can see right here. There's 2 lines. I forgot how many strips is on each line, but I have to zoom in for you. And believe it or not, so I'm gonna go up a little bit. This plug is actually miscolored, or it will fool you. The actual red is not positive like you would think. You see a red wire, then a black wire, then a red wire, then a white wire, 2 lines. And I'm just gonna show you this right fast. I'm actually gonna take my red wire, put it in red, and the black wire and put it in the white one. As you can see, it's reading open, but I'm just going to switch it around. Okay, put my positive lead into the white plug and my black lead to the red one. And you see I got 112 volts. So let me go to the other line. I'm just assuming that these lines should be even. And once again, I'm going to go red and black, just the opposite, and my black one onto the red wire. And I am getting 95 volts, and I'm actually seeing some backlights to the TV. So the other line may be bad, I'm pretty sure. One is that reading 112, okay. Reading 113, and I really don't see any backlight. I see like a little light there, but we definitely must have a problem there. Okay, pretty sure LEDs are bad. We're just gonna start disassembling it. This one's not too bad. A few things to consider. These brackets here, these are for the actual feet. Which I forget, I do have the feet here. I thought this, I actually had two of these in here, but yeah, these are for the feet. So make sure these come off, okay? And I'll always mark mine. See, I got a marker, I'm marking with a black magic marker on both sides, okay? And then when I also have to take this metal plate off here, as you can see, there's one on the left side and there's one on the right side of the TV. And if you want, I just mark the edges. It's always good to mark stuff so you won't forget, right? And another thing that's very important is this Wi-Fi module right here, okay? That is going to have to come off, okay? Very easy. We just, should be a clip right here and a clip on the side that comes right up. And once that's up, you can just leave it like that, or you can disconnect it. But there's also a screw up under here, okay? I believe that's gonna have to come off too on this plastics piece. I don't know if you can see that screw right there. So, I believe that's gonna have to come off. I'm not sure, but I am gonna go ahead and just take the brackets for stand. Just got 4 number 2 Phillips screws, okay? It does kind of snap into place. Make sure you pull this off. Make sure this is not in the way you don't break the ground wire for your Wi-Fi module. Okay. Just keep wiggling around and it'll come right up. Same thing for the other side. And then, like I said, we're gonna take our metal bracket off here, and that should actually be enough. Just some screws there, screws there, screw there. And there are also some screws on the bottom right here, okay? See, there's one here, one there in the middle, and one down here right up on this module, okay? And you're gonna actually, that's the number 1. Figure, right? Okay. So I'm gonna keep these all together. Okay, actually remember how this goes. So I got these brackets off for our driver boards. That's actually covering our driver boards. And so I got the number 1 screw Phillips out on the bottom and the number 2 Phillips, the silver ones on top. And it comes off, as you can see, it's still stuck to the Wi-Fi module. So I just disconnect the Wi-Fi module, just unplug it. We're not gonna need it for LED problem, okay? And same here, take all the screws out. Keep these and the screws all together. Remove our LDVS cable from our main board at that connection right there. That way we make sure that we don't fire the TV set up and while it's accidentally plugged in and short off the TCON board, okay? So we'll unplug that. If you want, you can tape it down. I'm just sliding this up underneath. It's all contact at the bottom. So that should be fine there. Then, right, quite naturally, we are going to remove our connectors so we can separate our driver boards from the TCON board. You can disconnect it here from down there, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now, once I do that, what I'm actually going to do before I put my driver boards out, I'm actually going to go ahead and take off the rest of the screws around the outer bezel. As you can see, they're all the way around, and those are Phillips number 1s all the way around, okay? And the ones that are on the bottom were connected to the little metal shield, so we don't have to worry about any screws on the bottom, just around there. And then we're actually, once we do that, we're going to take this out, or just flip it, I'm sorry, after we take the screws out, the outer bezel, we're gonna flip the TV on its back and pull the outer bezel off, okay? So we can pull our screen off. Very simple. Okay, I've got all my screws out around the outer bezel, and I'm just gonna flip it over on its back. But before I do that, I'm actually gonna loosen these driver boards first. If you see, this is really easy. You just see they'll just hit the top clip, and it'll slide right up. Or was it the bottom one? There we go. There's a little tape on here too. That top clip comes up and out just like that. Beautiful. And remove some of this ground-in tape, this gold tape. Okay, remove that. As you can see, voila. And the reason I'm doing that, just in case, when I go to pull the outer bezel off, I want to make sure the screen's not attached to it. If the screen's attached to it, I don't want to yank the screen and yank these driver boards, because remember, these are connected to the actual screen, right? So with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and flip it up and just make sure that these are overhanging the edge of your table, whatever you're working on, okay? So that way you can look up under there and loosen them and make sure they're loose. Okay. That should do it. And then once that's done, as you can see, our driver boards are hanging down, okay? And we're just going to take something, we might can do this with our fingernails, and who knows? If not, just get something and unpry. See, this is going to unpry it real fast, very easily. Just do that and be very careful. Okay, when you're doing that, don't force it up if it doesn't come off, because you are definitely going to crack the edge of the screen, and we definitely do not want that, okay? Wow, this comes right up pretty easily, okay? Okay. Always that one spot. Always that one spot. Okay, not, there we go. Voila, that's it. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually going to tape our driver boards to the screen, because I definitely do not want to yank them. Okay, tape them like that. You don't want them taped tight. You don't want to be scrunching these ribbon connectors at the top. Just do a little tape like that. Okay. Fold it over. Just put a little tape on it like that. Okay. Now I want to show you something. Okay. That's very, very important and can be very, very dangerous on this TV. If you don't get anything at all, get what I'm about to tell you. When I go pull the screen up, oh, this one came right up. Okay. Usually on this set, the actual bottom, I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. Okay. On some of these TCLs, the actual bottom is actually connected, of the screen is actually kind of taped onto this bottom piece. And this one does actually look a little different, okay? Yeah, so actually we have to just pry this piece up first and then pull the screen out on the bottom. But this one came right up. Okay, next thing is to take off our brackets for our diffuser screen, which should be very easy. Of course, they do overlap. So let's see. We need to pull the top and the bottom ones off first, okay? And once you look at it real good, you'll be able to see like the little crevices and the little snaps on it. You can use something like this, or just you know, small screwdriver, and we'll just go ahead and pry those up. Oh, I see where the connectors are, right here, this little metal things right here. There we go. It's actually what you're prying up right there. It's a little connector, little snap I mean. One here. Okay, so remove the top and the bottom first, and then remove the sides. And like I always do, is I always catch that on camera. Put a mark on the very bottom. Come on. Come on. Zoom in, my friend. Zoom in. It's catching my mop, but it ain't catching. Okay. But, okay, there we go. I always mark it. Just get a magic marker and just mark the corner of it. And I always mark my bottom left corner. Okay, get all 4 of my diffuser screen brackets off. Keep them all together, put them in a safe place. Now I'm going to pull off my actual diffuser screens. Okay, and as you can see on this one, got some tape on top. Just make sure that you put these back on the exact same way they came out, because if you don't, you are going to be in trouble. And once again, I always mark the bottom of the screen right here. Okay, let me know this is the top screen. Okay, I'm pretty familiar that this, you know, the thick one's on the bottom anyway, but I'm make sure that I definitely keep these 2 screens here together. See that? And I marked it right there and on the chassis. But anyway, I'm just gonna grab them all at the same time, keep them all together. Okay? And you can stand them up or whatever. I'm actually gonna lay mine against the sofa here so they won't get dirty or slide out. Just hold it tight so you won't trip it. That's it. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's actually 10 of them. Please make sure that you put these back, okay? And the white paper. Trust me, I've done it myself. Especially these screen supports or screen spacer, whatever you want to call them. I always have to like remind myself, and sometimes I do forget to put them back on. And so I always put these like right in front of something, like with the white paper. Okay, so that I don't forget to put these back on. So just take those all off, no big deal. And then we'll remove the white paper. And there are going to be some sticky spots on that white paper, but that's how they do it. No big deal. Okay, I'm actually going to set these over here. Hopefully I don't forget to put them back on. Okay, this white paper should come right up. This TV's been worked on before, right? Somebody already removed the white paper. Okay. And you got another spacer on here, no big deal. So now we're down to our actual LEDs. Okay. Okay, now the only thing I found on this set, I did unplug the power supply, the plug going to the LEDs from the power supply to make sure I didn't get any interference with my testing. And as you can see, it's marked positive, negative. Okay, all 4 of those are lit up. And one thing I did notice is that on the left side of the TV, or right, whatever you prefer, the LED strips, there are 4 LEDs on each strip, but to my right, on this side, there are 5 LEDs on each strip. Okay. Now I did find one that's not coming on, and it's pretty high. Usually, if it's shorted, it would be lower. If I'm doing my math correct, but that may be open. I don't know why how the other three LEDs are lighting up, because we should have yeah, if it was shorted, there would just be the 3 LEDs, but it'd be 22 volts, approximately on that one. Sorry, you can't see my meter, but take my word for it. It's 22 volts. 22 volts on that one. And these here are lighting up as, let's see. To my right, the 5 strips. That one looks like it was changed. That's a little, hold on, was that open? Okay, here we go. 24 volts. These actually should be around 27 volts, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, about 27 volts, okay. So, 27 volts. 27.5 volts, okay. And this one is reading 30. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got 3 LEDs lit. It should be 22, but it went up all the way up to 30, and it's jumping around too. Yeah. So that's basically what is shutting the TV down as far as the backlight circuits. We're shutting the backlight circuit down. So I'm going to go ahead and change that one. Okay, and let's see here. Make sure we got the right polarity here. I'm going to go positive to the top. Okay, let's do this again. Positive, negative. Okay. Okay. Okay, so to my right is the positive or anode side, and to my left with the LED will be the negative side. Okay. Finally got that lens cover off, or lens, diffuser lens off. And what I'm best going to do, get a closer look at this LED. These are actually 6 volt LEDs, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or 5.8, 6 volts, same thing. You can use a 3 volt if you want. I usually don't have any problems with those, as long as the line is not open. It's really no big deal. So what I'm going to do is actually get my heat gun, and I'm going to set it to about this one here. You may want to heat the bottom up, but I'm going to set mine up to like 450, okay? Because these are pretty sticky. They're kind of stubborn to get up. If you got a hot plate or under one of those hot plates, what they call them, where you can put the actual strip and the bottom part heats up, that might be better. But I'm just going to go ahead and light this up. Get my little light here. I want to get pretty close on this one, because I know these are very stubborn. I'm actually going to put it over it a few times. It's going to have to get real hot. Came out pretty easily. Let that cool. Let the trace a little bit. Okay, now we know that this side here is our negative side, this big side. So what we have to do is actually extend this piece right here. As you can see, that's going to the positive side. Let me see if I can separate a little more so you can see. So I'm going to scrape the trace off of it on this side. Okay, my iron seems to be hot enough, and I'm just going to put a little, hopefully you can see this on camera. Okay, I'm just going to put a little dab right there. Make sure they were kind of even there. Okay. And oops, didn't quite get on there like I wanted it to. My iron's quite hot enough yet. Let's put a little dab on this side maybe. That'll catch. Okay. Sometimes doing these individual LEDs can be easy, and sometimes it can be a pain, okay? Just have to make sure you have a lot of patience doing this, okay? So it seems to be okay on that one side. Okay, there we go. Okay, now just gonna go ahead and put some actual solder on there. What did I do with it? Okay. There we go. That should do it there. Let's see. There we go. Nice and bright. Nice and bright. Okay. And I'll just show you where I was checking it at. Positive down here. Negative right there, okay? That's good. So go to the hole, do the whole strip. And we're right at 19.3 volts. Now let's see if that's gonna even light up when we fire the TV setup. Okay, I have my TV turned around because unfortunately I had to plug this in, I believe. My keypad. And also plug back in my LEDs back into my power supply. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it on. Okay, hit the power. Voila, as you can see, go ahead and unplug it. Okay, still lit up. There we go. Oh, good, there we go. We are all lit up. And I did clean the solder up a little bit on there. See how close this camera can zoom in on that. Probably not too good. We can get some light on there. Get some light on the subject. Let's see. So I did clean most of the most of the flux up around it. I still got a little more I need to get up. And then what we're gonna do is, when our actual lens cover, I just had it with the hip. We may have to shift this over some, okay? Maybe because our LED is actually in a different position, so it's not gonna go back into the actual same slots or spots. And I can actually see it from here. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this by eye. I'm not gonna turn the TV on and all that. I'm just gonna put some super glue on there and put it over the LED, because I don't think now it's going to fire up. Hit the actual, as you can see, it's lit up right there. Finger, I wanna go ahead and hit the button. It's flashing, comes on. I'll take this out. Okay, just lay it back down. And then what you want to do is just put this LED on like center mask. Okay. So it looks kind of like the other ones, or pretty close. And that's where you're going to glue your LED back on, right there. Okay. So all I'm going to do is get some super glue. Put some, just one dab, not too much, otherwise we're gonna have a problem sticking for some reason. And just kind of Center it over there so it's even. There we go. That's it. Hold it there for a few seconds, and then that should be dry in a few. Okay guys, now we're ready to put our white paper back on. Our studs, whatever you want to call it, screen holders, screen places, screen spacer, whatever you want to call it. Put those on and put this bad boy back together. We'll be finished. Okay, I put my diffuser lens back over my LED. So it's pretty dry. Super glue doesn't take long with this plastic stuff. And now we're going to put on our white paper. And like I said, I got the one corner marked. So where are we at? I didn't mark the paper though, that was stupid. But anyway, should only go on one way. If not, it only goes on 1 or 2 ways. So that looks like it. Okay. Went on pretty even. Looks good, even on all sides. Just a note, I had the paper in backwards. Well, not backwards, but the wrong way. I did see my little mark I made right here in red, okay? So that's why some of the spacers didn't have any holes in it in the center. So I'm like, what's going on here? Okay, so I'm just gonna move it around. There we go. Now we see we got our plugs right here sticking up. Okay. And they only go on one way, folks, so no, don't panic. You'll see how it goes. The bigger hole is where your screw goes, and the other hole goes around the little post that's sticking up. There we go, got our ones in the middle now. Okay, cool. Number 1 Phillips. Don't put them in too tight in case it comes back to you. Okay, once that's done, I'm going to align and put our diffuser screens back in there. Keep them in the same order. I'll add my red dot up here in the right corner. Okay. Just make sure everything's nice and even. As you can see, they're trying to slide off on me already. Just always know that your thicker screen, this one here, is also the one at the bottom, and the thinner ones go on top. And there are some holes on both sides, top and bottom, to align them in the correct way to the chassis. So we don't have to worry about that. Just take your time. Make sure all the holes are in there. Pull this little sticky tape back, or just take it off. This little tape right here. There's no need for that. Make sure all your holes are lined up so your diffuser screen brackets can go back on nice and even, right? Okay, we'll put our brackets back in. So remember the sides going first, okay? And I got the one marked right here. So this one goes here, and the other smaller one goes on to the other side. And the good reason to mark them too is so you know exactly how they go on. You know, you might be trying to put it on backwards and stuff like that. Okay, so, and always look at, when you're taking these off, always look at it real good and know exactly how they go on. Okay, this one just, there we go, slides right in there, and so does this one. Before you get some kind of idea what's going on. It's going fairly easy. Make sure that every inch is clipped down in there. Okay, so if we put our screen on, there's no buckling up or anything, and we won't have to worry about cracking our screen. Okay, now we're going to put in the actual screen, and please make sure that you know which way the driver boards are supposed to go, because you want to get it right the first time. You don't want to be kind of taking it back off again and then switching it around, otherwise you're going to get a good chance of cracking it. Okay, I'm just double checking to make sure all my diffuser brackets are clean and snapped all the way in before I even attempt to put the screen back on. And see, there's something sticking out right here. Okay, it seems to be okay. Just double check it to make sure it's as even as possible. Okay. Some of the driver boards go on top. And you definitely want to make sure that all the corners fall into the brackets. They're all aligned up. Okay, you don't want to have any part of your screen sticking up. Okay. For instance, this corner here, there's a little part sticking up and a little crease sticking up right there. Okay, that's correct. And then over here, for some reason, it is not lining up. That's because I got a cricket maybe. Ooh, I don't want to be doing that now. Come on. Definitely double checking to make sure that all four corners are in the little brackets on the little stoppers on the diffuser brackets. Okay, I'll let you know that all the edges are in. And just take a quick look to make sure it's all flush. Looks good on all, especially all four corners. That's how you tell. Okay, looks good there. So I can cook them over a little bit. Nope, maybe not. Okay. So it looks pretty good. I'm going to unloosen this. I'm going to pull my driver boards, untake my driver boards. Okay, be careful, don't rip the connectors right here. Okay, as you can see, those have IC chips inside of them. Okay. Let's go ahead and take those off, fold those up under. What I'm going to do now is put my outer bezel on. Okay. And if you want, it's a good idea to go ahead and fire the TV set up now if you can, but quite because the control panel thing is kind of weird. We're just going to have to put the outer bezel on first. Okay, now I'm going to put on my outer bezel. Okay, and this just snaps in like last time, pretty easy. Should fall right in. Flip it over. We're going to put our driver boards back in place. Okay, these little grooves here. Remember I showed you? Okay. It was only going pretty much one way. Just push the bottom part in, snap into the top. Pretty easy. A little tape back on there. Same here. I want to put back my driver boards, plug those back into the T-con board very carefully. Make sure the notches are all the way in before you close it. You see I can't like pull it straight out now. I have to use a little force. Okay, they're in there. Clip it down, put our LDVS cable back into our main board, which we unplugged, remember? Put that in there. Okay. Make sure that's all the way in, okay, in the right way before you clamp it back down. And we don't have to worry about any speakers. All we need is our Wi-Fi module and stuff. But actually what I'm going to do is put a couple screws in here to hold the bezel, the outer bezel on while I flip it up and check the picture out. And one on the side and one on the end down here. That way the bezel, the outer bezel won't slip off when I'm holding it upside down and Yeah, they will really be cracking the screen. We'll really be cracking some screens in, right? Okay, so it looks pretty good so far. Okay, now we'll just go ahead and put the back on for a minute. Plug it in, just so I can chest fire it up. Lights should start flashing. I see backlights. I'll go ahead and unplug this. Set it out of the way. Make sure to make any boo-boos. Looks good. Be very careful. All right. Looks good. And you see, don't worry about these spots right here. If you're using a suction cup, you see those little spots right there. Want to see how big that is? That's not going to last very long. It's just going to go away after, you know, a couple days or two, or maybe the same day. I don't know. But yeah, you didn't do any damage to the screen or anything. That's just the suction cups holding onto the plastic. So they will go away. Okay, they're not there permanently. Okay, and that's it. It looks good. Okay. Go ahead and unplug it. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put on our Wi-Fi modules and our metal brackets, okay? And also our little square supports for our feet. So we'll do this first, okay? It only goes on one way, okay? And actually that's the Wi-Fi module. We'll just put that back in there. We'll put our screws in the bottom and the top. Make sure you get those separated. The black screws go on the top. The silver screws go on the top of that metal shield. And the black screws go on the bottom, okay? Black screws go on the bottom, just like that outer bezel, same screws. And the silver ones go on top of the shield. As you can see, there are holes on top, okay? One in the middle, two on the other side. Oh, I want to forget to put the rest of the screws around the outer bezel too. Remember, I just put in just a few, just to hold it down while we test fire it up. Last but not least, our supports for our feet. Okay, one on each side. Okay, yep. Put the screws back in those. This little thing is broke, looks like. So I'm actually gonna have to put some tape on there so that won't slide out. No big deal. Put some electrical tape around there. Yeah, so it won't slide out. This little thing here is actually broke. How it broke. Well, you know how I broke. I did it, but but you know what I'm saying. Okay, come on, get in there. I'm just trying to see if that's actually going to clip out, or if it's not going to. If that's not going to work at all. Okay, guys, got everything put back together. We'll give it the ultimate test of time with the remote. Power. Try it again. Oh, there we go. Okay. So everything is looking good. Alright guys, well I hope this video helped you guys out. If you learned anything or you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave me comments below in the comment section. If you like the video, make sure that you give me a thumbs up. And until then guys, make sure that you do subscribe for more videos, okay? And once again guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Big Dog out.